Hey, I kind of ended up doing an impromptu video. Wanted to go out and take a new pic of the cabin since things have changed a bit with it, particularly the new front walkway and the painted door on the electric building. But on my way out there, I was like, well, what the heck, make a video. So I made a video. And it was pretty crappy, but I think I pieced enough of it together to give y'all a good idea of what I wanted to say. But first, I received some fine art in the mail the other day, and I wanted to take the time to share it because I really like my fine art, and I put it on the wall. And in this case, I put it on the wall over my desk. And this picture here is from my niece, Erica. And it's a fine portrait of me, Zulu Daisy, and Scooby. And it's just such a striking resemblance that I had to share it. You know, as you can see, me in the center. I think Zulu Daisy is on the left. You'll hear me call her Zuzu a lot. And Scooby's on the right. So just amazing artwork, and I had to share this with you. Now back to our story. I went out, took a video. The first thing I wanted to show you was some tree clearing I had done because I wanted to up how much solar power I was bringing in. So basically I asked guys to cut down any trees big enough that they would shade the solar panels. So we got a big arc of trees that were cut down, and it actually, I love my trees. And I really wanted to minimize how many I cut down, but I also didn't want to install another big solar array or something. So I broke down and said, okay, we'll get rid of the trees. Well, only getting rid of the big ones, which mainly are the pines, actually turned out pretty nice because there's some evergreens and some other trees there. You'll see it in the video. Check this out. I hope you like it, and then we'll get into a little bit on the solar arrays and how they're set up. Just want to take a little bit of time to talk about my solar arrays, and notice the piles of wood you see over here. This is something I had done. I really hated to because I love my trees, but notice there's a big hole here. Used to be huge pine trees. There's still some trees in there, particularly evergreens, but I needed more solar output, and it's a whole lot cheaper to cut down trees than it is to install more solar panels. So we cleared those out, and it's actually turned out better than I thought it would. I really like kind of how it looks. You can see how things are kind of filling in pretty well. You know, I'll probably, if any pines get to growing in there good, I'll probably chop them down. It made for a nice little area. And all this stuff, even though it is pine, I'll burn up everything I can in the wood stove. So that's really kind of turned out good. It really upped my amount of energy I was bringing in. The next thing I wanted to get into was the solar arrays. I've got two solar arrays, each with 15 panels. I initially screwed up the description, so I figured I'd do it again. Each array is 3,750 watts That's 15 panels at 250 watts apiece. Excuse me. They're 24 volt panels, and basically each column of 3 is hooked up in series, and those columns of 3 each go to their own breaker in a little junction box. There's 2 junction boxes that are at the bottom of a pole that's in between the 2 solar arrays. Trimmed back some trees back behind there too, because there's just a concern that, hey, if any tree were to fall on the panels, that would cost a whole lot of money. So, but here you see my 2 solar arrays. They're not close to the house, it's like 50 feet from the house or something like that. And they're like that because I like my trees up around the house, and I want shade from the trees on my house and things like that. So, but it's not the cheapest way to do it, because we're talking thousands of dollars of cables, copper wire going up to the storage or the battery building from these. It's a lot of money. I wanted to clear up what's going on in the junction boxes that are on the pole in between the solar panels. You'll really only see one of them in the video because they're like back to back, but there's 2 of them, basically 1 for each solar array. So the wires for 15 solar panels are going into each junction box. Inside the junction box, there's 5 breakers, and that's where each breaker has got 3 solar panels in series in it, right? After the breakers, those are all hooked in parallel, because basically hooking 3 in series goes from 24 volts to 72 volts, 3 times 24. And then when you hook the 5 series connections together in parallel, you're up in your voltage, or up in your current, excuse me. So that's why that's done that way. You want to ideally use the highest voltage you can and reduce the current, because it reduces the cost of the wire. But I wanted to clear up what was going on in those boxes. So 2 junction boxes, each with 5 breakers in it, with a series of 3 solar panels hooked to each breaker. So 10 breakers total, 5 per box, and that gives you 30 solar panels basically combined into 2 sets of wires that are going up to the battery building. So the wires from each panel are going to that pole out there, and there's 2 junction boxes there. It really didn't have to do that. They did that initially because there was going to be 1 set of wires going up to the battery building, the electrical building. But then they discovered there needed to be 2 sets of wires because of how much current. But because of that, the length of the wires from the solar panels, you see I got 2 little junction boxes out there. The junction boxes basically are where all the wires from panels are combined into 2 sets of wires that go to the electrical building. Each box has 5 breakers in it. The 5 breakers are 1 for each 3 panels, since there's 3 panels in series from top to bottom is one series. So we've got breakers all over the place in this system. That's just the way they drew it up. The distributor drew up the plans. So 10 breakers, 5 in each box. And that's basically the setup of the solar panels here. So I figured I'd come through, give a little bit of more detail of how this is set up. But the house is looking good. Things are a-changing. I'm starting to cut up a little bit of wood and stack it back there at the battery building. Notice one huge change here. I can't hardly see the screen, but the battery building back there now no longer has a white door, which was the ugliest thing I think I'd ever seen. Is it just stood out. So we got kind of a dirt colored, it's kind of got a little bit of red to it, but things are looking much better. And to save from making more videos, I guess I'll go up here and share the new walkway up front. Notice it's constructed mainly like the walkways around back, replaces the other one that had the sand and smaller rocks. Notice the little pea gravel. I don't know how well you can see it, but that stuff really works good. But this won't really look good until a lot of that gets washed on off. But I'm not in any hurry about that. But path works good. The house was looking pretty good. I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of an update. Things are looking good. You can see I've been clearing out some undergrowth around here too. So things are going well. And there you see the solar panels off in the distance. But I'll talk to y'all folks later. Bye-bye.